Okay, so this is my first video of many talking about my experiences learning how to knit, and before I could learn how to knit I needed to buy some knitting equipment. So I went to Dessau today and I got all of the equipment I would need. I spent a total of $66.30, which is a lot more than I thought I would be spending on knitting supplies. I thought it would be a little bit more accessible, but I suppose if I were to do this in a classroom, I would probably ask for supplies from parents or anybody who could donate supplies. I would never require parents to donate, of course, but so first and foremost I got two, oh, they're kind of stuck in the bag. Guess I only got one pink one. I paid for two. Hold on. Okay, so crisis averted. I accidentally dropped the string in one of my classrooms, or the yarn I should say, and that could have been bad. Thankfully I went back and it was right where I left it. Okay, back to the video. Okay, I ended up going back to my classroom and I accidentally dropped one of my yarn balls there. It's got a little bit messy, but that's okay. So as I was saying before, I got two pink ones. It says in the package that one of these should be able to make a hat, two of these would make a scarf. I don't quite know what my first plan of attack is yet. Scarf might be ambitious, hat might be ambitious, but I have two of these, and those each cost $6.50 each, so that's not too bad. And then for when I master this, if I do master the art of knitting, I got two big balls like this. It says that one of these balls should be able to make a large sweater, so I'm hoping two will help me make a blanket. That's kind of my end goal here. I've always wanted to learn how to knit blankets, and especially because I'm about to be an aunt any day of a lovely baby boy, I'd love to be able to knit him a blanket. So those were kind of a little bit more pricey. That's where I really got hit. They were each $18, and that's where it starts to add up. To get these little ones is not such a big deal, but they won't last as long. So after doing some more research, I realized that some thicker yarn might be a better idea. And since my nephew was just born 4 days ago, I decided to get some soft baby yarn to make a blanket. So that's the end goal. We also bought a pattern book that teaches you how to knit, and I got these straight needles because apparently circular needles are actually more complicated to learn to knit with. So for this thick yarn I decided to get these. They are, I believe, a size 9, which is 5.5 millimeters. Oh no, just kidding, those ones are 11, which is yeah, it's 8 millimeters, and these ones are the US 9, which is 5.5. Oh, no. These ones are the smaller. So using that yarn, I practiced casting on, as you can see here. My first row didn't really go as planned because I didn't realize that I was pulling it too tight at first. Because of that, it's kind of turning out to be a little bunched. So this was just a practice. I'm going to unravel it and restart now that I have a better idea of what I'm doing. At first I was just doing stitches all the way. Once I got to this point here, I decided to try doing purls. which is kind of like an opposite way of doing the stitch. These ones were very similar. Like once you have the rhythm down of doing the stitches, it doesn't take that much to switch over to doing pearls. The one thing that I found tricky about doing this is when you lose a stitch and it falls off and you don't realize, it can kind of mess things up. You can fix it, however, it's just a little bit more complicated to do that. You can see right here, I actually lost this stitch and could not figure out how to fix that. So that is something I will have to work on in the future. But yeah, so for now, this is what I've done. This right here is about 26 rows of stitches, and to make a blanket I'm thinking I'll probably need more like 75. It is just a baby blanket, so it won't be too big, so we'll see. And I've decided in my book we have a went too far. There is a pattern in this book that teaches you how to make, here we go, this design here. So what you would be doing to make this is you would be doing like a stitch, a line of stitches, a line of pearls, a line of stitches, a line of pearls, just to get all of the bumps going the same way. On the other side would be flat all the same way. And then once you get down to this row here, you would be doing, let's say, 5 pearls, and then the rest would be stitches until you get to the last 5, which you would do 5 pearls. And then when you go to do the next row, it would be 5 stitches, the rest pearls, then 5 stitches for the last, etc. until you get down to the last rows here, and then you would do the same as you did for the top. And I've decided to do this one because it's not too complicated of a pattern. I don't feel quite comfortable doing something as complicated as, let's say, this one right here. That looks a little bit daunting. So for now, I will go with that. Okay, so I've decided to do a little bit of a tutorial just to show kind of what I've been working on. So first you're going to take your yarn and you're going to leave quite a bit of excess yarn at the end. Because I will be making a blanket, I'm going to need a lot of it. So I'm probably going to leave about 2 meters. So then what you're going to do, you're going to take your yarn, you're going to first make a little slip knot. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that. And you have your little hole. Stick it in. Okay, and then you're going to take your yarn, wrap it around your fingers as such. Okay, so you have this kind of a formation going. You're going to take your needle, put it under and through here, around, and pull. It'll look like that. So we'll do it again. We're going to go under, above, pull. And you want to make sure that you're not pulling them too tight as well, because that could make it complicated going forward. So I'm just going to loosen these quickly before I continue. Okay. You want to make sure you're keeping them close to the end, so that way you have room to move. Again, you're not going to pull too tight. This is really important at this part. So let's see, that's 4. We're doing 5. So we're at this point now, and I will check in a little bit.